Yes, continues between Australia and New Zealand in the Shell Rimula Super Trans-Tasman Super Truck Challenge. This is the third of the sprint races. There will be another one, a three-lapper also directly after this. On the front row of the grid, it's the Australian Glenn Dobson. Alongside of him is Neil Allport from New Zealand. As we're on board with Joe Scarcella in the O'Brien Aluminium Kenworth onboard camera. And heading down the main straight for the first of three laps. There's moves aplenty already.
Yes, Rodney Crick there having a look up the inside, and he gets through again. Scarcella is going to be stuck here on the inside as they turn left into Coca-Cola. Contact definitely there, and I think there's another truck on the outside of Rodney Crick. A big sandwich there.
Trucks going everywhere, taking evasive action, sliding sideways and using the dirt to stop their momentum. Rodney Crick, stone motherless last. That will not do the Australian chances any good. They lead the series so far after the first two races, 30 points to 19. So there's only 11 points in it. Remembering 9 points for a victory, 6 for second, 4 for third, 3 for fourth, 2 for fifth and 1 for sixth. So 2 trucks in this 8-truck field will miss out on points.
Rather unusual combination for Glenn Dobson up in front, but it works very well. He leads it from Allport, then it's Mike Russell. And hasn't Mike Russell been the dark horse of this field so far? He's been consistently in the top 3 for every race that we've seen so far.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job. He got 2 seconds in the first 2 races, and at the moment he's up there into third placing and consolidating the Australian chances of taking a victory in this battle. On the outside of Joe Scarcella there, it looked like it could well have been the number 41 of Gary Thompson trying to get around the outside of him.
Yes, it certainly is, Lance. You see Thompson slips through on the inside there. He was involved with that first turn incident and stuck on the outside of Rodney Crick. Now, Crick yet to come into the equation. He's a long way back. We saw him lose a lot of time, and he'll start to charge through as the laps wear on. Unfortunately, though, there's not a lot of laps in these 3-lap heats.
There certainly isn't. A sprint race indeed it is, as our Australian counterpart in Glenn Dobson in the MAN doing a fantastic job. He'll take 9 points in one more lap time if he maintains the race position he's in at the moment. Currently up there in second placing is the number 65 of Neil Allport from New Zealand, as now Rodney Crick, he winds up that Volvo N12 down the main straight, up the inside of Joe Scarcella, and promotes himself 1 further place forward in the field.
Gives you an idea of how high these trucks are off the ground. That shot from Scarcella's machine. Very high, 5 tons, 1,000 horsepower. These things are absolute weapons, and quick. You could not drive a stock standard Commodore around Oran Park, no matter how good you are, any quicker than these things.
Well, Mike Russell is continuing to maintain his good form. He's hounding the rear end of the New Zealanders' truck there, Neil Allport in front of him. Glenn Dobson is going to take a certain victory here by 4 or 5 truck lengths. A fantastic effort for the young Australian to lead the field home. Allport will be in second place. Russell will come home in third. And taking out fourth is the New Zealand captain, Inky Tully. Well, that means that the scores at the end of 3 races. Australia lead on 44 ahead of the New Zealanders on 30 points. So they're certainly dominant to say the least, but there's still one more 3-lap sprint to come and a 10-lapper at the end. Neil Allport will lead them. Gary Thompson alongside of him in the front row of the grid. The 2 captains on the second row. Joe Scarcella on the inside of the third row with Mike Russell on the outside of him, and Glenn Dobson and Malcolm Little from New Zealand at the rear of the field.
Let's see how they go now. The horsepower starts to wind up. We go on board with Joe Scarcella, the high shot as he looks down, trying to charge his way through the field. Watch for Rodney Crick, but look on the outside there, Inky Tully. That truck has such acceleration, does a big run down the outside, and it is brilliant under brakes as well.
Well, he wants to be very careful that he doesn't get pinged for speeding, Nathan. We've already mentioned earlier that they are limited to a 160 km/h top speed down the straight. There are radar guns here at Oran Park, and the officials will have no hesitation in enforcing that rule if anybody goes over the 160k, and certainly we wouldn't want to see that happen to any of the competitors.
Yes, looks like Rodney Crick there moving his way into third place. Oh, look at Mike Russell, gets the truck sideways out of Shell Turn. We go on board with Joe Scarcella now. This is a very fast part of the circuit though. O'Brien Aluminium flip-flop, high speed over the top of there, and Mike Russell, he's a wild boy today.
Yes, there's no stopping the boy as we take the onboard Shell camera on board of Cosjo Scarcella's O'Brien Aluminium Kenworth as we head down the main straight. Neil Allport doing a fantastic job in second place. Inky Tulloch, his New Zealand counterpart in front, leads them down into Coca-Cola for the second lap. Rodney Crick from Australia trying to go high, wide and handsome right round the outside. Will he have the intestinal fortitude to go on with it? He may well do, but he hasn't got the room on the track.
Well, Rodney Crick will have the red mist on, that's for sure. He was taken out on the first lap, first corner of the race prior to this, and he won some points this time. Look at him nudge Neil Allport all over the back of him. He's going to try to go wide here. Will it work? Gets contact with Allport and he's hit the dirt. Will he get the truck out? I don't think so.
Well, almost a case of deja vu there. We've seen a New Zealander in that position earlier on in Malcolm Little, and now the captain of Australia. He finds himself hung out to dry in the sand trap on the outside of Shell Super Corner just before Spectator Straight. Now, we've seen a black flag out there signifying the number 64, I beg your pardon, and that is Inky Tulloch. And it looks like he's going to experience the wrath of the officials. We believe, Nathan, it is for speeding.
Yes, 162 kilometres an hour is the word from the officials. They are supposed to be limited to 160. So he has been speeding. He has to stop for a stop-go penalty, but this is the last lap. He's still out in front. He may be stricken from the records.
He may well be. Only time will tell. And this one will probably be sorted out in the steward's room at a later stage, unless they've already made a decision on it. As you mentioned, this is the last lap, and look how close it is for second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth placing as Inky Tulloch leads them onto the main straight. Well, he's not going to take the checkered flag on the main straight. He's going to accept the checkered flag in the pits. He'll take his stop-go penalty. Will that in fact hand the race over to Neil Allport? Mike Russell will finish in second and Gary Thompson in third, if in fact that is correct. And we've just got through, Nathan, that is the case. And of course, Inky Tulloch has been relegated to the rear of the field.
Well, sensational.